Aloha everyone. So it's been almost 9 months since the big Lahaina fire, and it's been 2 months since my last aerial update of the progress being made in the burn zone. Since that last video, cleanup crews have achieved a few major milestones with a ton of work being completed. In fact, right now, I'm standing in my neighborhood, Kahoma Village, and as you can see behind me, cleanup in this area has officially started. We're also to the point where we can start the planning and permitting process for residents' homes to be rebuilt. In this video, I'm going to get the drone up in the air so you can see all the work that has been completed in Lahaina Town to this point for yourself. And I'll talk about all the important updates. Let's go take a look. Alright, so just like my previous videos, we're going to start on the far south side of Lahaina Town and work our way north along the coastline. And then we'll turn around and circle back a little bit farther up the hillside. We'll also follow Lahainaluna Road pretty much to the top of the burn zone. As always, I'll provide timestamps in the description down below to some of the key neighborhoods so you can jump ahead to any of the neighborhoods that are of the most interest to you. Right now, we're flying over the top of the Puamana community. And if you look closely, there's a number of properties within this neighborhood that have had all of their ash and debris completely cleared and the erosion control placed over the top. According to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, by the time this video is released, they will have cleared over 800 properties of the ash and debris. When you consider that they just started the residential cleanup process around 100 days ago, there's been a lot of progress that has been made over the past few months. And at this point, they estimate that they're clearing roughly 14 properties per day. To give you a point of reference as far as our location, we just started flying over the southernmost part of Front Street. We'll be leaving the Puamana neighborhood and coming up on the Shark Pit neighborhood. And as you can see for yourself, since my last video, there's been a ton of progress made in this particular area of Lahaina Town. Now, if we do some quick math and consider there was around 2,000 properties that originally needed to be cleared, and we cleared over 800 already, and we continue to clear an average of 14 per day, it appears that we only need around 3 more months to complete the residential cleanup process. Now, to be clear, that 3-month estimate is my estimate, and the Army Corps of Engineers is certainly not promising that everything will be completed in 3 months. Okay, so we're now coming up on another major landmark. You'll see the Lahaina Shores condominium complex on the left-hand side of the screen, right next to the ocean. And just past Lahaina Shores, you'll see 505 Front Street. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that we are approaching Lahaina Harbor and the Banyan Tree area. From here, we're going to start a new flight in roughly the same location, and we're going to continue heading north, flying right over the top of the Banyan Tree. It's kind of difficult to see from this particular angle, but as we approach, you'll see that crews did remove a large portion of the banyan tree that did not survive the fire. We're now coming up on the old Baldwin Home Museum directly below us, and we're coming up on the portion of Front Street that was mostly zoned for commercial usage. So lots of restaurants and shops in this particular area. Directly below us right now is where Fleetwoods on Front Street was located prior to the fire. Now we're coming up on the intersection of Front Street and Lahainaluna. Of course, the cleanup crews did prioritize the residential areas in Lahaina Town. But even with that in mind, I was surprised to see how much activity was happening in this commercial area. In fact, it looks like the outlets of Maui, which we're flying over right now, has already had a lot of the ash and debris removed. And heavy equipment is still actively working on the site at the time of this video. We're now coming up on the intersection of Baker Street and Front Street, and just on the other side of that is the Channel House condominium complex and Lahaina Residential condominium complex. And you can see that Lahaina Residential does have some crews actively working on the site. Right now we're flying over the top of Front Street Apartments and coming up on my neighborhood, Kahoma Village, which you saw at the very beginning of this video. The work that's in progress in Kahoma Village right now is more on the mountain side of the neighborhood. We'll get a better view of that when we turn around and start flying in the other direction on the way back. We're now coming up on the Kahoma Stream, and just on the other side of the stream is a portion of Front Street that has been reopened to the public, and several businesses in this area are now open. Businesses like Old Lahaina Luau, the Cannery Mall, Aloha Mixed Plate, and Mala Tavern, just to name a few. Okay, now we're coming up on a long stretch of residential neighborhoods where we're going to see a ton of progress has been made in cleaning up these properties. Now that so many residential properties have been cleared, it seems reasonable to expect that in the not too distant future, we're going to start to see some of these homes being rebuilt. We're now coming up on the Lahaina Roads condominium complex on the ocean side. And as you can see, we're coming up on the farthest north point of Front Street. And we're going to start to turn and head over into the Wahikuli neighborhood, starting with a new flight on the other side of the highway. Now, when it comes to rebuilding homes in Lahaina Town, it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly the county is able to approve permits to begin construction. In the past, the permitting process on Maui has been very slow. In 2021 and 22, they had an average time of just over 300 days from application to issuance of the permit. However, the county is working on ways to streamline the building permitting process for those that were affected by the fire. The county has promised that this new process will differ from regular permitting and it will be expedited. In the meantime, though, there are temporary housing projects that are already in progress in Lahaina Town. In fact, if you look at the top of the screen now, just above the existing Wahikuli neighborhood, you'll see one of those projects that has already broken ground. This one is a state project that's planned to have 450 prefabricated units that are available to fire victims that are not FEMA eligible. As we round the corner here, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, above the Wahikuli neighborhood again, there's another project that has broken ground. That one is a FEMA project of around 169 units, and it's located just above Fleming Road. Okay, so we're going to continue flying south over the Wahikuli neighborhood, where again you're going to see just a ton of cleared lots and progress being made. And as we do that, I'd like to take just a second to thank everyone that has reached out with words of encouragement and gratitude for the video updates of Lahaina Town. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. However, it did recently come to my attention that there is a small group of Lahaina residents that are actively trying to have my videos taken down. To those people, I would just like to say that my intention for these videos is pure. I simply want to maintain and promote awareness of what is happening on the ground in Lahaina. I do my best to keep these videos fact-based, free from any political agendas, speculation, or harmful theories, and focused on promoting recovery of what we all know was an incredibly tragic situation. I believe that more global awareness will only help to bring aid to this community. I myself am a long-time Lahaina resident, and I only want what is best for the entire town and everyone that lived in it before the fire. So, as we jump back across to the ocean side of the highway and continue our flight, I'd like to ask for everybody's opinion on this topic. Let me know in the comment section below whether or not you think I should continue to do these updates of Lahaina Town as we recover from the big fire. And if you don't feel like leaving a comment, feel free to just give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think these videos are harmful to the community. All of my previous Lahaina videos have received around 99% like to dislike ratio, which is substantially higher than the average YouTube video. And as long as the vast majority of people truly appreciate these videos, I will continue to make them. By the way, we're now crossing back over the Kahoma stream and entering into my neighborhood, Kahoma Village. And this time, you'll get an aerial view of the cleanup crew that was shown in the background during the intro to this video. From here, we're going to jump ahead a little ways because we will be circling back to the Kahoma Village area. In this clip, we're going to start at the coastline at the intersection of Lahainaluna Road and Front Street, and we're going to head up the hillside. We're coming up on the area where the Plantation Inn was located prior to the fire on the south side of Lahainaluna Road, and now coming up on the intersection of Waihinee Street. The next cross street directly ahead is the Honoapi'ilani Highway, and on the left-hand side, you'll see the staging area where crews are working to crush concrete and steel that was collected from the ash and debris. We'll be passing another prominent Lahaina landmark, the Pioneer Mill smokestack on the left-hand side, and entering into the Lahainaluna Neighborhood. This area is another good example of how much progress has been made in the residential areas. As you can see, there's a lot of properties that are showing off the red dirt, as well as plenty of properties that have been cleared and have the gray gravel spread over the top for erosion control. If you don't think cleanup crews are moving fast enough, I suggest you take a look at my previous aerial tour, which I released on March 5th, taking roughly the same route as I did on this video, and it showed that there was hardly any lots cleared at that point. At the top of the screen, you see the bypass highway, which is pretty much the end of the burn zone. So we're going to turn around and start heading back down the hillside. Straight ahead, you'll see the Kahoma stream once again, and on the other side of that is the Emerald Plaza commercial area. By the way, I'm still getting several questions from people asking what type of drone I fly. So I'll share a link to the exact setup I use for these videos in the description below. I've also started to get more and more questions about how I learned how to fly and how I got my license to be a certified drone pilot. There is an FAA exam that you need to pass in order to fly larger drones or to fly any drone for commercial use. The exam is rather difficult, so I highly recommend finding a school that can help you prepare for the exam. I'll also share a link to the drone school that I used to prepare for my exam in the description below. The course is 100% online and you go at your own pace, so it's a very convenient way to learn how to fly. Straight ahead on the left-hand side of the Kahoma stream is Opukea condominium complex, and on the right side of the Kahoma stream is the Hoonanea condominium complex. Straight ahead, you'll see that we're coming up on the Honoapi'ilani Highway once again. On the other side of that is Kahoma Village, and we're going to circle around and start heading down Limahana Place. This is the area that held Mind's Eye Interior, Choice Health Bar, the Pizza Hut and Taco Bell building, as well as the Slime Mongoose, just to name a few of the businesses in this area. At the end of Limahana Place, you'll see the turnaround circle where the Sugar Cane Train food truck park once was. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see where the Kohala Brewery was before the fire. We're now coming up on the intersection at Papala'ua, and we're going to jump back across the Honoapi'ilani Highway and continue to follow the highway in the southerly direction until we get back to pretty much where we started the video. We're passing over Lahainaluna Road once again, and coming up on the Spinnaker condominium complex. We're now passing the Catholic Church on the right-hand side, and straight ahead, we're coming up on the Aina Nalu condominium complex. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a large square wall. That is the old prison museum. And of course, just past that is the intersection of Prison Street. Okay, we'll start a new flight here, just above Prison Street, and continue to head south. This time, we're right above Waianae Street. Now we're coming up on Shaw Street and about to enter into Shark Pit neighborhood. Again, it's just so nice to see all the progress that's been made in these residential neighborhoods. It does look like almost half of the properties have been fully cleared. I know there's still a lot of people that are struggling after the fire, but every day is one step closer to recovery and rebuilding. We're coming up on the farthest south point of Front Street once again, and about to fly over the entrance into the Puamana neighborhood. This brings us back to pretty much where we started the video, so I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that made it all the way to the end of the video, and if you appreciate the video updates of Lahaina Town, don't forget to show your support in the comment section below, give me a thumbs up, and don't hesitate to share this video with anybody else that you think would appreciate fact-based updates on what's happening in Lahaina. Until we see you on the next one, aloha.